So maybe like a day or two ago, I remembered that I have this notebook from back in 2016, 2017. I'm not sure exactly when, but it's a very old notebook. And in it, I wrote some scary stories. Now, keep in mind that back during 2016, 2017, I was like 13, 14 years old. And just picture 13, 14-year-old who just got into creators like Mr. Nightmare and Darkness Prevails, and, gets interested in writing his own stories. Now, a pretty interesting story is that I think one of these, the first one maybe, or I'm not sure if it's, well, actually not the first one. I know that there's like one story that I wrote for English class because me and the teacher organized this little thing for Halloween where some of us wrote stories, we prepared some presentations, I think even had candy, so instead of having like typical class, we celebrated Halloween for a bit during class. It was a pretty fun time. We like sat in a circle and read some stories, and I remember the teacher being amused by my story because it was pretty like brutal. Like I think it involved like the like protagonist stabbing someone with a screwdriver in self-defense or something, and the whole story that I wrote back then just reeked of like 2016 Mr. Nightmare stories and modern day Mr. Nightmare stories. Like all of them have that specific charm to them, that specific vibe. And you could just tell that I, watched these all the time and decided, hey, why not take a crack at writing my own, making up some mysterious event and writing a story. But I also remember this other guy writing a story, and it just seemed like I was thinking, wait, this doesn't really seem like a horror story, this is more like a plot of a movie or something. And years later, I was playing Terraria. And this is important because I got to the Halloween stuff, like I think it's the pumpkin medallion, I'm not sure exactly. And I remember, wait, this is exactly what that guy wrote about. He just wrote, damn, like Terraria fanfiction or something. And it's just pretty interesting. That's just something I wanted to point out before we start. But with me, I have a notebook, that very same notebook that I just sort of remembered that I have. And in it, 9 stories that I wrote as a 13, 14-year-old, and I haven't reread them in years. I probably didn't even reread them back then. I probably just kind of wrote something that was in my mind and just kind of left it to rot in this notebook, not showing it to anyone, except for maybe my mom and, whoever else was interested. I think only my mom, actually. Because my mom is fairly interested in, Stephen King and all that stuff. So she was pretty proud to see me start writing. And even nowadays, I do occasionally write, and I am planning to possibly get back into the groove of, maybe writing a good, scary story or two. Who knows, maybe one day you'll hear some popular creepypasta offer reading my stuff. Dream big, but it's worth giving it a try. In life, it's worth giving everything that you have an interest in a try, if you can. I mean, it's free. Writing doesn't cost you, so yeah, that's my 10 cents for all of you. If it's free and if it won't do you any harm, physically, mentally, give it a try. Why not? But anyway, enough of my philosophical yapping. Let's begin the 9 scary stories that I wrote as a teenager who just got into puberty. I'll title the video something else, but that's not going to be the title. But yeah, let's get right to it. It was the middle of winter, and I was going to another country. I was visiting a hotel that wasn't really nice, but it was all I could afford. So I arrived at the hotel and I unpacked everything and went to the pool. The pool was huge, and the max depth was 2 meters. I felt really uneasy. I felt like eyes were staring at me. I decided to go to my room early. I fell asleep at 1 a.m., and I woke up to see an old woman in her 80s standing at the foot of my bed. She charged at me and grabbed me by the throat. I broke her grip easily and ran out of my room screaming. When I got to the reception, I have already alerted the hotel staff, so they called the cops. The cops found no one in my room or in the hotel. I described the woman perfectly, and one member of the staff told me she hanged herself in her room that was right above mine. The most frightening thing is that on the chair she used to tie the rope, was a picture of my room's door. I have this hobby where I explore abandoned places like houses, hospitals, prisons, and usually places I shouldn't be in. It was Friday, 10th October 2015, and the final bell for school rang, so I decided to go to an abandoned hospital. I went with my two friends, Josh and Chris. We entered the hospital and walked through the hospital until a camera flash got into our eyes. We decided to stay silent and hide somewhere. We were walking to the back door until we saw two men sitting on the patient's bed, looking at a phone. We decided to eavesdrop on them, and this is what they said. So, let's revise this plan one more time. You will run through the back door with this bag, and I'll go to the front entrance with my money. Alright, but one more thing. There are 3 kids in the building. I took a picture of them. Josh stepped on a piece of glass, and one of them said, "And I think those little bastards are right here!" They charged towards us, but we ran away from them. When we arrived at my place with my friends, I called 911 and told them where to look. The next day, it was on the news, and the picture that was shown was of me and my friends wandering through the hospital. I don't know why he took a picture of me. I live in a house right by a river with my friend Samuel. We use the river for hunting or collecting wood for a fire. It was late 2013, 2 a.m., and we were going for a late night walk. For safety purposes, we brought our 2 M1917 Enfield rifles that my father gave to me. The river starts off with a forest, then a bridge, and finally the other side of the river. The river goes in a circle back to our house, which was very convenient. When we got to the bridge, my friend told me he needs to go to the bathroom. He told me to go to the river and that he will be right back. When I arrived at the river, I sat down on a bench and saw my friend coming close to me. He sat down and we talked for a bit, but then something grabbed my leg. It started pulling me into the river as I felt its razor teeth pierce into my leg. My friend took my rifle and shot it, but what he said shocked me. "Now that he is gone, you are mine." His eyes became yellow and he tackled me. Then, on top of the bridge, I heard, "Heads up!" The thing that tackled me was not a human. Instead, a skinwalker. My friend told me what it really looked like. It was a large human-like figure with razor-sharp teeth and claws with blank eyes. And it said, "One more soul for the spirits," before pushing my friend down a hill. When my friend looked back at it, it turned into him. My name is Tom. I live in a Christian family, so my house is filled with crosses and saints. It's usually a good atmosphere in here, but one day my friends came to my place and brought a Ouija board. I already sensed bad spirits from that thing. So we started asking questions like, "Is anybody here? What is your name?" It said that it was called Jonathan, and that it was a good spirit. But then it spelled out Tom. I nearly vomited. I asked if I can leave, and it said no. And then I slipped into a coma. I woke up to see the news say 5 people were killed last night. I decided to try out the Ouija board by myself. I yelled, "Is Jonathan there?" It answered yes. I asked it to leave me alone. It said a very long answer. "You must kill Tom." I screamed, "No!" All the crosses in my room flew towards me, and I fell into a coma again. When I woke up, my hands were bloody. The bodies of my friends were laying on the ground. A man was in front of me, and he said, "Well done." Then I woke up. I was in prison, and a guard said, "Who is Jonathan?" I was driving around town at 8 p.m., and it was a pretty nice time. Several parties were on, many people were celebrating Christmas, and the streets were fully decorated with all sorts of Christmas decorations, such as Santa, trees, reindeer. It was December 25th, 2015, and as I said, the streets were absolutely filled with people and festive decorations. I got out of the car at 9 p.m. to play Pokemon Go. I battled in 5 to 6 gyms around town, and I went to 10 to 15 Pokestops. I got to a street that I needed to cross. It was strangely empty. I started crossing it. But then out of nowhere, a car went 100 miles per hour into me, nearly shattering my spine. I blinked and I was back on the sidewalk, and the street was full of cars and people again. Then the same car with the same plate ran into a man, nearly killing him. This story was told to me by my older sister. At that time she was 19, and right now she is 22. She and her friend were working on a school project, but then my sister received a friend request from unknown user. He had no profile picture and no friends. My sister accepted the request and 3 seconds later received a message from him. It was 8 p.m. when she received the message, and it was, "Hi there, should I come to your place now?" My sister responded, "Who are you, and what do you want?" He immediately responded with my sister's address. She responded with, "WTF is your problem?" He said, "I'll arrive in a dark blue Toyota Camry. Oh, and if you call the cops, I have a list of people to take out." He started counting people like my mom, dad, brother, friends. An hour later, she receives a message saying, "Knock knock." She didn't hear 2 knocks. Another message follows. "It's rude to leave guests outside." He started banging on the door. The hinges started to loosen. My sister and her boyfriend ran up the stairs with my cat Kenny. My sister had a pistol in her room, so when situations like these come, she is ready. Her boyfriend grabbed it and watched the door from the stairs. The door busted open. It was her ex. He was holding a sickle, wearing a dark brown hoodie. My boyfriend immediately recognized him and shot his leg. The cops arrived an hour later and arrested him. While I was exploring an old abandoned military base, I found a collection of notes from 1966. Here is all of the notes. Note 1. I am embarking on a new journey. I am planning to go south, and I will end my journey at South Point of Chile. It will take me about 1 to 2 weeks. My journey starts in Peru, and I am traveling with 4 friends. In 5 hours I am going away and starting my journey. Note 2. We are now 4 days into our trip, and we have plenty of food. We have been seeing nothing but sea. Unfortunately, one of my friends, Brian, fell in the water and was dragged down by a shark, and it snatched all of our fish. Only 4 of us are left. Note 3. It has been a week and 3 days. Food is running out and another man, Chris, died. He attempted to attack us, but I shot him. Our ship was robbed by pirates, and I don't think we will make it. Only 1 more note left. This one was the most interesting and terrifying, so here it is. Note 4. It has been 2 weeks. I am starving and close to insanity. Only me and my friends Ryan and Peter are alive. It's sunset and we see an island. Ryan and Peter go on it to scavenge. They find loads of food and bring it all onto the ship. They go back, but then they feel a rumble, and all of a sudden the island descends into the water like a whale. Both Ryan and Peter die, and I get out of there. I made it to Chile, and now I have a theory. That island was not an island. It was a beast that lured unsuspecting sailors onto it. So Atlantis could have been an island beast due to its sudden disappearance. It all began when I started watching deep web videos. I got really interested, so I installed the Tor browser. I started browsing, and in the first 4 hours I found things like drug trade sites, conspiracy theories, obviously fake hitman sites, and a lot of dead sites. But then I stumbled upon a site called scp.com. The site was a black screen with text all over. The first section was Introduction. It said, SCP is a worldwide organization which hides many unimaginable things from the public eye. Ever wondered about things like the Bigfoot or the Rake or characters from the creepypasta stories? Well, we have all of those. When news spreads about something supernatural or paranormal, we secure the location, contain the creature, and protect it. We cover these stories with silly rumors and speculations so that we can protect the human race. For example, Bigfoot is not a shy creature. It is a ferocious beast that kills anything it sees. We work in secret, but we are above the government. These creatures are sorted into 3 groups: Safe, Euclid, and Keter. The next sections did not contain anything important, but the more interesting things are on page 2. The second page, called SCPs, horrified me. There were over 2,000 pages, all titled SCP and a number behind it. The one that caught my eye was the Plague Doctor. This is what the page said. The Plague Doctor. Euclid. Dressed in a Plague Doctor outfit. Outfit seems to be part of its body. Its touch turns people into its minions, who are not to be confused with zombies. It can pull out medical tools from nowhere. This one was interesting, but the next one was terrifying. This is what it looked like. The Old Man. Keter. A completely black humanoid that looks like an old man. A manifestation of the horrors of World War I. Anything it touches rots slowly. Below the summary were pictures. I nearly threw up at the sight of the rotting corpses with the figure looking at him blankly. I reported this to the police, but when they checked, it was gone. I got a message from an unknown number saying, "We are watching. You've made a big mistake. We are above everything. And you are the next picture in SCP-106's online gallery. Goodbye." Before I could find out what this meant, a black liquid started dripping from my ceiling. I am now locked in my bathroom watching the door rot. I can see his face through the holes on the door. The pool was huge and the max depth was 2 meters. I felt really uneasy. I felt like eyes were staring at me. I decided to go to my room early. I fell asleep at 1 a.m. and I woke up to see... I went to bed early, 1 in the morning. Oh my god. Okay. Yeah, I had a very healthy sleeping schedule back then, I can tell. For safety purposes, we brought our 2 M1917 Enfield rifles that my father gave to me. The river starts off with a forest, then a bridge, and finally the other side of the river. The river What the fuck? Do they live in a fucking castle? Like, do they have a moat around their house? What the fuck? The fucking M1917 Enfield, like... You can tell that I played Call of Duty at the time. Jesus Christ. Note 2. We are now 4 days into our trip, and we have plenty of food. We have been seeing nothing but sea. Unfortunately, one of my friends, Brian, fell in the water and was dragged down by a shark, and it snatched all of our fish. Only 4 of us are left. Note 3. It has been... His name is Brian! My friend Brian! Oh, they're so nonchalant about it. Oh, my friend Brian got fucking eaten by sharks. Oh, Kino. Absolute cinema.